Here is a step-by-step recipe for a Black Forest cake made with kirsch, which is a sour cherry brandy from Germany. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius. Line two 9-inch pans with parchment paper to prevent the cakes from sticking to the bottom of the pans. Trust me on this. Sift the all-purpose flour, baking soda, and salt together to ensure that all the soda and salt are uniformly distributed. Over a double boiler or a heat-proof bowl over a small saucepan, allow the water to come to a simmer and not a rolling boil, as this will cause steam to get into the chocolate and cause the chocolate to seize or become granular and disgusting. Stir occasionally, and as the chocolate melts, we can work on the cake batter. With an electric or stand mixer, beat the butter and brown sugar until well combined. At this point, the melting chocolate should be all melted, so let's remove that from the heat. Stir the chocolate chip mixture until no chocolate chips are visible. At this point, you can then remove it from the heat source. Back at the cake batter, add your eggs one at a time. Occasionally, clear the sides of the mixing bowl to ensure that the ingredients are well incorporated. This is what the batter would look like. Now beat the batter on high speed for 5 minutes until light and fluffy. Reduce the speed and add the vanilla and the melted chocolate and mix until combined. This is where the pouring shield for your stand mixer comes in really handy. Now stir in the dry ingredients and yogurt or sour cream, alternating between the two until combined. Stir in the hot coffee and mix until combined. Now the batter will be really thin. Immediately pour equal amounts of batter into the prepared cake pans. Tap the cake pans to ensure that the surface is level and the cakes will bake evenly. Bake for 25 to 32 minutes until done. The cake should be domed with a few cracks. Be careful not to overbake the cake. Once out of the oven, cool completely before decorating. And in the meantime, we will be preparing the cherry filling and cream. First, remove 9 whole plump cherries for the topping. We're going to be making the cherry filling by using the sour pitted cherries. So you can either use this in the bottle or can, or you can even use the frozen sour cherries together with tart cherry juice. Make sure you do not use the ones that are sweetened, because the nice thing about the Black Forest cake is that it's a cake that is not too sweet. In a separate bowl, combine the cornstarch with some cherry juice to make a slurry. Over medium heat, bring the cherry juice to a simmer. Stir the slurry and pour it into the saucepan, stirring constantly until thickened. Remove from the heat and pour the thickened cherry filling over the tart cherries. Now add the kirsch or liqueur of your choice and allow to cool and thicken. This will be the consistency of the cherry filling once it has cooled. For the whipped cream, add 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla to the whipping cream. It is important that you use powdered sugar and not regular granulated sugar, because the powdered sugar does contain cornstarch, and the cornstarch helps stabilize the cream, and this will prevent it from deflating. For the chocolate shavings, use a thick bar of chocolate that won't break under pressure. Insulate the chocolate from melting by holding a towel around the chocolate bar. Then, using a vegetable peeler, shave the chocolate into a bowl. Another way of doing chocolate shavings is to melt some chocolate over a double boiler and spread it thinly on some parchment paper. Roll up the parchment paper and coal. Once the chocolate has hardened, unroll the parchment paper and allow the chocolate to break off into flakes. Now for assembling the cake. When the cakes are cooled, first, using a plastic knife, run it along the edge of the pan to release the cake from the sides. Carefully remove the parchment paper. Using a bread knife, carefully slice each cake in half, creating 4 fairly even discs. I try to keep the hand with the knife fairly stable and rotate the cake around the knife, creating a fairly even slice. Place the slice of cake that is going to form the base onto a flat plate. This will make it easier to decorate. For each layer, add some cream and a third of the cherry mixture. There should be 3 layers. Carefully slide off the slice of cake that is on another flat surface, making sure that the cake is centered and not lopsided. Do the same thing for the next 2 layers, making sure you use up the cherry mixture but have some cream left for the outside of the cake. The topmost cake layer should be a flat bottom layer. This will make the cake appear more uniform and aesthetically more pleasing once it's decorated. To decorate the outside of the cake, create a crumb coat by spreading a thin layer of cream over the entire cake to hold all the crumbs. If time permits, allow the cake to rest before adding the final coat. Use the rest of the cream for the final coat and then decorate with chocolate shavings and whole cherries. If you are going to be decorating your Black Forest chocolate cake with the large chocolate shavings, I recommend using disposable gloves to prevent the chocolate from melting. Applying the small chocolate shavings to the cake is messy. It is advisable to put the cake on a pedestal on a baking tray. The baking tray will catch all the chocolate shavings that fall off the cake while decorating. I hope these tips will help you make your best Black Forest chocolate cake ever. Enjoy and happy baking. More recipes can be found on sammywongskitchen.com or social media. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks!